Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from news about Desawe Kanda. Also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in and beyond. I am Alfred Ocansey.
My name is Christabel, success Treve.
This evening, Inspector General Police issues stern warning to political parties against mobilizing supporters to foment trouble during the upcoming by-election in the Akwatia constituency. Also, we're learning from the IGP that 8 persons have been arrested in the Ablekuma North by-election violence. Stay with us. We've got details for you. Just not too long ago, the IGP addressed the press as the executives of the Ghana Journalists Association also had a meeting with him ahead of the Akwatia by-election. Stay with us. We've got details for you. Also, the happenings at the Public Accounts Committee. Refunds won't stop corruption, prosecute culprits. That's according to the Keta Member of Parliament. We've got details for you here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 and straight to the happenings at the Ridge Hospital, where the Health Minister has been updating the issues there. It indicates that some persons have been arrested in connection with that incident a couple of days ago. Stay with us. We've got details for you here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 plus. The Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa has been defending his stance on the presidential jet over challenges that he says persist. But the hypocrisy in the ex-Wale Akufo-Addo era is what he spoke to. Stay with us. We've got details of that, plus the latest in business and sports over the next 1 hour here on Hot Edition. Let's settle for a summary of the news now.
In a summary, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Christian Tete Yohonu, has warned that the police will not tolerate any form of violence during the upcoming Akwatia by-election of September 2. Speaking to recruits at the police training school at Tremateng in the Eastern region, the IGP assured Ghanaians that the service is fully prepared to maintain law and order. He noted that no political party or individual should attempt to mobilize people to cause confusion or interfere with the electoral process. Also, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has come under scrutiny at the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament for various financial infractions, included alleged unearned salaries and interest. The Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. James Kwesing, led the ministry's defense before the committee on Tuesday in Parliament House, Accra. According to the Auditor General's report, 3 foreign service officers at the Abuja mission received unearned salaries, while 19 personnel at the Ankara mission, including the former head of mission, received unearned interest totaling 16,226 euros, which has since been repaid. This was revealed during the public hearing. The Director of Strategy, Research and Communication at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, Samuel Apiadako, has explained why former Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta must be physically present to assist with ongoing investigations. Mr. Apiadako said the law requires that a suspect be placed under arrest before any statement can be taken. And finally, the Chief Executive Officer of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, Julius Nikwe Korte, has announced that the authority's Adenta office is now operating a 24-hour service system. The DVLA boss noted that the initiative is being monitored at the Adenta branch and could be expanded to other offices across the country if it proves successful. Over to you, Alfred.
Let's get into some stories right now here on Hot Edition, as the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohonu, has issued the strongest ever warning against electoral violence, vowing to arrest on-site persons who fomented trouble during the Akwatia by-elections. Now, speaking to personnel during a high-risk exercise in preparation for the polls, the IGP stressed that the police's readiness to enforce law and order has never been in doubt. The September 2nd by-election became necessary following the death of the Member of Parliament for the area, that's the Akwatia constituency, N.S. Yalkumi. The stakes are high, with 4 political parties, that's the New Patriotic Party, the National Democratic Congress, the Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG, and the All People's Congress, APC, contesting the vacant seat. Now, given Akwatia's history of electoral violence and coming on the heels of the Ablekuma North rerun that was characterized by some violent incidents as well, the police say they are leaving no stone unturned and nothing to chance, with plans to deploy over 600 personnel. This is according to the IGP. He addressed the press earlier today, and take a listen to him.
This is our highest level of training, and we call it a high-risk operational training ground. And so we have brought men here, quite a large number of men,
home, sweet home.
And these people are trained to handle arms. They are already well-trained police officers, but because we are going to these election grounds, we've decided to come and sharpen their skills towards the Akwetia by-elections. And that brought us here to come and see how prepared they are. Today they are going to Akwetia well prepared so that they can handle all the threats, just to let the whole country know that police, we are ready for the elections, and all the threats we've been hearing from TikToks and all social media has also given us the room to prepare adequately towards the elections, and also to remove fear from people and the electorate in Akwetia that nobody can come to this constituency to come and cause any trouble. And we want to assure Ghanaians that the police is ready to handle any type of thing that may come in Akwetia. We are ready with the men. We have the men. We have the men who can handle this situation. And then our eyes are red for Akwetia, and nobody should think of coming to cause trouble. No political party should mobilize men to come and foment trouble. And nobody should have in mind the intention of snatching a ballot box. We have prepared our men adequately to handle this situation. And that, I informed the political parties as I met them yesterday. What I told them is that we are going in with Black Marias. Do you understand what is Black Maria? Black Maria is the prison on wheel. Yes, we have a truck that is well prepared to keep people who cause trouble, prisoners. We keep them in, and then before finally we discharge them at the police cells or whatever it is. So there is going to be prison on wheel. That will be in Akwetia. The moment you cause trouble, we arrest you, and then we put you in the Black Maria. The word is what? Black Maria. Trouble causers should know that Black Maria will be on the ground. And then we are not going to allow any political party to call us. When their people have come there to cause trouble, if you call us, nobody will listen to you. So now we want to do some small simulation about how our men who are going to conduct the snap checks and those who perform other duties, they have come here, about 600 men, well prepared, and they will be on the ground in advance to make sure that people who will come to Akwetia armed to come and cause trouble, they should see it that police, we are ready for them. Thank you.
Well, that's the IGP there, making a very bold and strong statement about the Ghana Police Service's preparation ahead of that crucial Akwetia by-election, which will see some candidates from 4 political parties contesting and also testing their muscles and also their mettle in that particular constituency. But this constituency has a history when it comes to electoral violence, and 2008 comes to mind quite strongly. The Ghana Police Service is making a very, very confident statement of stemming any act of indiscipline or violence in the upcoming Akwetia elections, and let's try it as it happens. Now, Dr. Victor Doke is a political scientist and also a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, joining us right now for a conversation. Is a security analyst joining us right now, and then also a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Thank you so much, Dr. Victor Doke. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition. First off, I want to find out from you this statement that the Ghana Police Service has made emphatically that they have the men, 600 of them, going to be deployed on the ground to, as it were, deal with any act of violence in the Akwetia constituency during that by-election. Convincing enough for you?
Well, thank you very much. Good day to your listeners. I think what I heard from the IGP this afternoon was the 600 are going to soften the ground, and there will be many more deployed in addition to the 600. Now, what was the blueprint of the North by-election? I think, for me, I've always stood by that assertion that if we are to do anything with regards to by-election, I think North blueprint is a good example to continue or add on to it. But by and large, 600, the whole of Africa, looking at the violence in the past, and looking at the tensions, even with regards to the just ended election, and the its aftermath, the whole litigation processes and whatnot. So I think if they say 600 and they have a well mapped out strategy with regards to curbing any violence, then from their books will be okay. But if not, then they need to look at what assessment they've done with regards to early warning systems that will pick up the signs for them to identify that there are potential, violence in the office for them to add up to the numbers or re-strategize. So I think by and large, of the D-Day and its aftermath, we will determine whether the 600 was enough or it wasn't.
I see. But considering the evolving nature of this electoral violence we've been experiencing in this country and taking into consideration the history that Akwatia itself has as well, beyond the numbers, beyond the number of men on the ground, what should be the additional strategy that the police should be considering? Because the IGP talks about a prison on wheels, sort of, that if they arrest you, they just put you in that van and then they wheel you away. You've just been put behind bars.
So let me mention some of them. One, from the town itself, entering into Akwatia town. Now, what are the strategies? Are there roadblocks? Every reasonable kilometer, they should set up roadblocks.
Hello, Doc. Hello, Dr. Okay. I'm losing you. So if you could readjust so we hear you quite clearly. Hello.
Hear me now?
No. Yes. If you could be stable a bit. I don't know if you're in motion because I keep losing you. Hello.
Yeah. Is it okay?
It's better, but just stay where you are, and if you could make the point for us. Yes.
So I was saying that, one, there are so many strategies. One, I would mention the fact that you need to set up roadblocks at every reasonable kilometer to search vehicles that are entering into the main domain of where elections are going to be held. I saw this when I visited Akin North, prior to the by-elections over there. The roadblocks were set up, and then police mounted these roadblocks, and then searches were conducted on every vehicle that was entering the area. Now, is there a need to plan activities of motorbikes just on that day? Okay? The wearing of smokes, especially to the police stations. I think if it can be done, we should put in that directive, right? And then now I heard the IGP talk about the drones, which will be flying in areas where it's not accessible by road. I think it is in the good direction. That is where I wish we had enough helicopters to also be assisting with the aerial surveillance in regards to the security aspect. But by and large, we should have men ready, formed uniformed men ready, who are going to react and respond to emergencies. At the police stations themselves, the personnel there, are they going to have some sort of first-hand security equipment like batons or pepper sprays to handle emergencies if they should arise? And then they look at the deployment itself by and large. Now, picking up these elements who are going to foment trouble, the prisoner of which is going to be there. But what I would plead to be done is, if any of these youths are picked up, the law should take its course. And then we should see them being persecuted. As he spoke this afternoon, those who perpetrated the violence at the North election, some of them have been picked up, which is in a good order. So I think that sends a strong warning to the political elite. And then they should monitor the tone, the language on that very day. And here I'll also agree the fourth estate to censor every language which is going to inflame tensions. I think this is censored. And for the fourth estate, the personnel themselves, they are responsible for the security. You have to take control. You run when you're supposed to run, and then you obey rules. I think by and large, if you're supposed to do this, we'll get somewhere.
Anyway, well, I thank you very much. We're counting down to that crucial by-election, which is just some 14 days, maybe like 13 days away from today. We'll see how things play out. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Dr. Victor Doka is a lecturer, political analyst at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, joining us with a start here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale, and on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Meanwhile, the police have arrested 8 suspects in connection with the Blakema North election, that's in those 19 polling stations, which was characterized by some violence. Now, Inspector General Police, who disclosed this during an engagement with Ghana Journalists Association, said the suspects will be arraigned before court by Friday. Let's take a listen to the IGP earlier today.
You cannot go back to work. But there's rumor going on that we have just transferred the policeman from where he is to another police station, which is never true. It is not true. When you are no more holding a wearing uniform, the only thing is that to look for your village and go and stay in the village and think about what you did wrong. So maybe when people saw this police officer in his hometown or village, they thought that he has been transferred to his hometown, or we have asked him to come and hide over there. It is not so. It's on interdiction, and when you are interdicted, we go through all the due process, using our service instructions, and then eternal disciplinary actions.
The rest of the people who are at home watching, they cannot see what is going on. And we have passed that stage whereby we have to look at the media to be a different group of people. They are part of us. Some of us, we have reached this stage, and then without the media, nobody would have heard of our name. I go to my village, and everywhere they will tell you that, even yesterday I saw you on television. It's not my own television, it's not my television. It is your television that put me there. So, DJ President and all our executives in the media fraternity, what we are telling you is that we'll make sure that we'll protect you. Even if it will take me alone to protect you, I'll do that. Before I continue, I think I should have started first to say that DGA President and your executives, we want to use this occasion to congratulate you on your story. And we are happy we have heard of you. I heard in the far years, it's not the normal you are using this. She also gives us the green light for the police officer to go before court. We have done it that way because that is the procedure of handling, especially a senior police officer up to that level. A man who was on duty, performing duty, but out of lack of control of temper, he went to that extreme. Who out of the blue commits any incident. But this one, he was on official duty, performing duty, and then in the course of that, he went to the extra mile. So in this case, we have asked that the AG should advise us the way to handle him. But then, it's also very severe. It moves to different categories. Reduction in rank, and a whole lot of things. Even dismissal can be the final stage of the internal disciplinary action. Thank you very much for bringing so many coverages and everything.
As the IGP there, Christian Tete Yohono, now Noble Crosby, and it's my colleague, he sat through that engagement with the Ghana Journalists Association. He's joining me in the studio. And Crosby, beyond the news we're hearing now that 8 persons have been arrested in connection with that Ablekuma North rerun violence, any indication of the police officer who was captured on video assaulting a journalist as well? What did the IGP say about that?
Well, just a backstory. So you know that yesterday when the IGP met with the 4 political parties, the MPP, NDC, LPG, and then APP, they are the parties contesting the Ablekuma North, the Akwetia by-election happening on September 2. The MPP were very, concerned about the police lack of action. Like they were demanding swift response from the police in dealing with perpetrators of violence in the Ablekuma North by-election. According to Henry Nana Boakye, these people were captured in videos. There are pictures available, and the police has only made 2 arrests as of yesterday, according to Henry Nana Boakye. But Henry Nana Boakye told us that the police had assured them that by close of day yesterday, more arrests would have been made. So today, the IGP telling us that some 8 people have been arrested in relation to the violence that marred the Ablekuma North election rerun. So it is, helping to build the confidence of the NPP, because they demanded that is what would build their confidence going into the Akwetia by-election. To answer your question specifically, you asked about this police officer who was seen in the Ablekuma North election rerun assaulting a journalist. According to the IGP, he's still being interdicted. He has not been transferred to another place to continue working. He explained what it means when the interdiction process happens. There's also police investigations ongoing in the service, plus some criminal processes that have also been started in relation to the assault of this police officer. The IGP says he's a senior police officer, and it was a surprise to him that he was seen doing what he did in the Ablekuma North constituency, Alfred.
I see. And we understand that these 8 who have been arrested, they'll be arraigned before court on Friday?
Yes, so he says by tomorrow or the day after, these people will be arraigned, and the proceedings will continue. The law will take its course. The police, they are done with the arrest. They are still suspects, of course, so they'll take them to court, and then the court will decide what happens to them in the coming days.
Well, thank you very much for this. You're so live here on Hot Edition. Noble Crosby, and let's say a bit further on this and speak to Paul Mensah Brampa. He's Programs Director in charge of Election Security at the Center for Democratic Development, CDD. And Mr. Brampa, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Good evening, brother.
Perfect. Now, for you election watchers, given Akwetia's history of electoral violence, what specific reforms or interventions does CDD Ghana believe are needed to minimize the tensions and prevent the clashes during the by-elections ahead of us?
It's difficult for me to answer this question because we've done all the prognosis, we've done all the recommendations since 2019, but we seem to be falling flat on the recommendation we ourselves to make. You remember, post-Ayawaso West, we were going to modalities were put in place, including having a severe punitive measures in the form of an Act 999, National Peace Council coming up with the roadmap to disbanding vigilante groups. But unfortunately, since 2019, I haven't seen the few electoral violence cases that have been sent to court, charges professed from the Vigilantism Act. So we seem not to be serious in implementing severe measures that will see to deter vigilante groups and to probably reduce its occurrence in the system. So if these questions are asked, sometimes I'm sort of what other recommendations we can prefer, but I'll still go back to why we needed a separate law to deal with vigilantism other than the existing criminal code. And if that law is here, that gives severe punitive measures up to 15 years imprisonment, has the potential to bar people from contesting in politics, have the potential to stop political activists from contesting in politics, then we have no other law than to implement that law to the latter. So it's seriousness, dedication, and application of existing framework.
See, now you talk about the existing framework. We've had the IGP talk about some other measures, for instance, deploying more men on the ground. So there are going to be more boots. About 600 personnel, he says, are going to be on the ground.
My brother,
why are you laughing about
count.
Oh, right.
No. Elections is not about numbers of security. Elections security is about tactics. It's about operational modalities. It's about applications of law. We can send all the men there, and if we are not committed to putting in place the caps, stopping people to cause problems, taking actions against them, the numbers will not do anything. For example, I overheard you saying that he said 8 people have been arrested from the Ablikmanov by-elections, and therefore they are going to see the court by Friday. The same statement was made, in fact, in a press briefing by Dr. Dampare on 9th and 10th of December 2024, that over 100 people have been arrested, 70% have been processed for court and have been granted court inquiry bills, the rest have been granted police inquiry bills. We are in August. What is the next message have we heard from the police administration? So some of these things, it's not about the numbers. As I said, it's about commitment, seriousness, and application of the law so that it serves as a deterrent to others.
It's your lack of, and this is my own, just for the lack of better expression, is your lack of confidence in the Ghana Police Service's strategy to quell and control, or as it were, deal with any form of violence stemming out of the past events, or presently in recent time.
I actually condemned the strategy Dr. Dampare adopted. In fact, in front of him at the police headquarters, when he briefed us and we're asking him, in fact, he granted audience to some civil society organization, which I have the privilege to be part of the group. After everybody had spoken, I asked him what was the essence of that strategy, because his point was that the 2020 strategy was a bit combative, and probably that might have been the result of the 8 deaths. And therefore, they were adopting different strategy. They will arrest people because they are going to plant people among the people who may cause problems, and later they will pick them up. My question was, election has one single objective: win. So if I'll kill, if I'll maim, if I'll do any other thing, then I'll get the results. We are in a country in 2017, 2021, that the courts have told us that elections are won at the polling station. What will be the essence of the arrest? More so since 2008. I have a data on my desk. None of the arrests have been prosecuted or seen better actions against them. So what's the essence of that strategy? And true to my words, it's what happened. People destroyed papers. People even attacked security officers themselves. We said we've made 113 arrests. What is the essence of those 113 arrests, since we've not heard anything about it until August down the line of the lane? So, not that I don't have confidence in them, I condemn that strategy. And if it is that strategy that we are going to adopt, then we must stop and allow the political parties to kill themselves.
It's a very extreme option to take, allowing political parties to kill themselves. This is...
No, because this is the same strategy. Because when you adopt that strategy, they are going to destroy themselves. They are going to beat people. You saw the videos what happened in Ablikmanov. You saw it, my brother. The videos are over. If you are going to stick to that same strategy, that's what the essence. In elections, because the democracy, and democracy is a journey, you move a step, you do post-mortem, you do analysis, you fill the gaps. But it looks like election security itself, we've not learned any lessons. And we are not re-strategizing. That's the problem I have with election security in the country. So if we are going to go by the same strategy, we are going to be adamant and allow people to kill people, people to beat people. And we say we are going to arrest. While the arrest don't see anything. Is that a proper strategy? Is that a better strategy? Is that what we can adopt? I'm not encouraging violence, but I'm also preaching a system that will be foolproof, a system that will protect, a system that will prevent. And if small skirmishes crop up, we are able to also deal it and deal it severely, so that it serves as deterrent. We are not adopting these three strategies. We are not preventing, we are not protecting, we are not punishing. What's the essence of the strategy?
I thank you very much. I think really articulated position there. We'll see how the next 12 or 13 days ahead of us will be, and especially in addressing those teething matters that you have just raised as well. Mr. Brampa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, brother.
Paul Mensah Brampa is Program Director in charge of Election Security at the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD, there.
Let's do some stories on education, because the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, has issued a directive to the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, urging him to ensure fairness and transparency in the ongoing teacher promotion process, particularly for those moving from Director 1 to Director 2 ranks. The Minister expressed concern that any perceived injustice could discourage education from participating in further promotion exercises. He gave the caution while speaking at the official launch of this year's National Teacher Prize Awards in Accra.
Only yesterday, I'm sure some persons, after reading his advert on the promotion from DD to D1, were very excited about the transparent manner he's going about the process. So beyond transparency we require of you fairness in the process of determining who deserves what and who should be placed where meritoriously. I count on your judgment on that.
That's Haruna Idrisu, the Education Minister there, also the Tamale South Member of Parliament. Let's stay a bit further on this. Dr. Peter Patianti is Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, on the foremost CSOs in the education space in this country. Dr. Anti, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Alfred.
Now, the issue of promotions in the education sector over time has been a thorny one, to say the least. I mean, now the Education Minister has directed the GES to ensure fairness and transparency in the ongoing promotions. To what extent would you want to see that kind of fairness, and in what form do you want to see this fairness and transparency being achieved?
Well, thank you. I think that it's as you rightly said, issue of promotion has been a very big issue with the teaching profession. And of course, if you take aside the challenge of their salaries, one of the things that they complain about is the issue of promotions. And it was made a little bit easier for them by the previous government, where there was a movement from the old way of applying for promotion, which involved you applying and then attending interviews, and it took people years before they moved from one rank to the other, to where now they were asked to write some form of test or aptitude, and I take some aptitude test that would just be determine whether you move from your rank to the other rank. And I think this government wants to strengthen that particular objective measure of promotion further by the statements from the Minister of Education. I think that in terms of fairness, we should just, as a matter of fact, look at what the person is due, and then just let the person have it. You don't need to bring in any impediments in terms of submission of documents. Sometimes the challenge of people going behind the scenes to push other people ahead of the others. All these things should not be encouraged, and I think that is what the current Director General is trying to do, to make it more transparent, open up for people to know what the processes are, and then ensuring that people would go through the processes without thinking that there should be somebody somewhere, they should know somebody somewhere for them to get what is rightly due them. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and as the teachers start apply and going through the process, we will know whether there are still impediments on their way as they apply to get the requisite promotions that they deserve.
Well, and I asked the form of the fairness and transparency because, I mean, what you may consider fair would not necessarily be fair in the eyes of someone. So there has to be specifically detailed and clear guidelines that would define exactly what fairness is, isn't it, in this instance?
Exactly, and I think that is the first step is by publishing the available vacancies and the procedure for applying for those promotion positions. So yes, they have done the first step. Let's hope that they would go a step further to indicate to prospective applicants the clearly needed steps that they also need to undertake. I know that most of these things are going to be online. Let's hope that people's documents don't get missing along the way. So there should be clear guidelines as to how this thing would go through. Aside that, there should also be a set aside procedure which will look like something, a system that will address challenges that people are facing once they want to go through the process. So in terms of fairness, as you said, there should be clearly spelled out guidelines for teachers to, follow through, and then there should be a systems in place that would respond to difficulties that teachers are facing. And of course, there should also be another system that will address delays and possible refusal. So teachers can now bring in petitions to find out why their promotion didn't go through, and that petition would be reviewed by an independent entity to see whether truly they didn't deserve the promotion or they were shortchanged. So these are fair processes or systems that the minister can add on to what is already existing, so that we will have a very smooth process for the teacher, for the Ghanaian teacher.
And I do appreciate your thoughts on this. Thank you so much for joining us. And that's Dr. Peter Patianti is the Executive Secretary of the Institute for Education Studies, IFES, a society organization in the education space in this country. There's some news just coming through from the NDC regarding the Tamale Central constituency by-election, which the Electoral Commission indicated yesterday will take place on September 30. The NPP has decided not to contest in that by-election, but the NDC has an update. What does it say?
They are giving guidelines for the Tamale Central constituency by-election parliamentary primaries. They say that they wish to inform the general public, party members, and prospective aspirants of the following arrangements regarding the upcoming Tamale Central constituency by-election parliamentary primaries in the Northern region. Now, with regards to filing of nomination forms, it says nomination forms are to be collected from the Northern Regional Office of the party. All completed forms must be submitted to the same office upon completion. Now, with delegates list, a certified copy of the delegates list will be made available to all aspirants after vetting. Nomination form fee is 5,000 Ghana cedis. It is to be paid in cash upon collection. Filing fee, we have 40,000 Ghana cedis, and that is also to be paid in cash only into the official party bank account listed below. For concessions, female aspirants and persons living with disabilities are entitled to a 50% reduction on the approved filing fee. Primaries timetable. All aspirants and stakeholders are expected to strictly adhere to the timelines which would be outlined in due course. Alfred.
So we'll keep an eye on how things are playing out in the NDC with regards to this Tamale Central by-election. The Energy Minister, John Jenapo, has been speaking about the matters relating to government inheritance of that sector and the challenges that are being faced right now. What is being done to address the challenges in an energy space?
Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Abdullahi Jinapor, says the country's power sector has stabilized. According to him, the government inherited a sector that was facing a significant deficit in terms of generation, but ongoing reforms and targeted interventions have yielded visible results, ensuring a more reliable and infrastructure for Ghana's energy sector. He was speaking at a meeting with officials of Ghana National Gas Company ahead of a planned shutdown for maintenance.
We're undertaking a lot of reforms. We've constituted a team to undertake a comprehensive view of the upstream and midstream sector for us. What should we do after all these years? What are the policy issues that we need to tweak, pursue, or change in order to ensure that we keep abreast with time? The demand for electricity is increasing, and so is the demand for generation, which also means that we'll need more gas as we move forward. But I know that given what we are doing, we'll be able to achieve our set targets. When I took over office, it was very tough. In fact, if you look at the records from Gridco, for the whole of 2024, every month there was load shedding. Every month. This is verifiable records. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. Particularly in December, the deficit had widened to about 700 megawatts. And then in January, I was appointed as minister. So it was very, very tough. And we had promised the people that we'll fix it. So naturally and expectedly, I came under a lot of pressure, a lot of fire. But with your support and under the leadership of your chief executive, deputies, and all of you, we've been able to stabilize the power sector for several months now, and you can check from the records. We haven't even shared load for a single day, not even one day. It's been consistent, and we're exporting quite some appreciable amount of power. Our objective is how we can sustain those gains and ensure that we do not slide.
That was Sector Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Abdullahi Jinapor, speaking. The Health Committee of Parliament has criticized the minority for politicizing the assault of a nurse at the Ridge Hospital, blaming them for inadequate recruitment of health professionals under the past administration. While condemning the assault and circumstances that led to that, the chairman of the Health Committee, Dr. Mark Ket Nawane, indicated that inadequate personnel at health facilities is to blame for such cases. He has been engaging journalists in Parliament.
I've also seen that the minority side of the Health Committee, they are 5 in number, has also issued a press statement condemning the issue. However, they have given it a political twist, which necessitates me to come in to explain the situation. If you take their press statement, which is before me, they speak of a certain minority member who was attacked by one of the perpetrators, and goes on to say that there was a cordial interaction with the Honorable Minister of Health, that is between that perpetrator and the Honorable Minister of Health. I want to explain this and repeat what the Honorable Minister said, that irrespective of the circumstances, the perpetrators had no right to do what they did.
Well, he again was giving some of the root causes in Parliament.
And this problem is not a problem that has been created recently. For 8 years of the MPP, they did not employ everybody. As we speak now, we have about 1,000 doctors at home. We have about 48,000 nurses who are not employed. We have about more than 1,500 pharmacists who are still to be employed. And for the allied sciences and laboratory, I think it is in the tens of thousands that are at home and are still not employed. The NDC government cannot use 8 months to solve a problem that has been created within 8 years. So we call on the government to make sure that we continuously reduce the numbers. As I speak now, the doctors, there are still about 900 at home. Let's bring them in to assist in our hospitals, to assist in our clinics. Let's employ these nurses as soon as it's practicable.
That's the chairman of the Health Committee, Dr. Mark Kurt Nawani. Let's do some other stories. A member of the Movement for Change, Nana Yao Sapong, has accused road engineers of constructing poor quality roads, the reason the country is struggling with keeping good roads. The comment comes as the Mahama administration commits $2 billion of its Big Push agenda cash into roads. Nana Yao Sapong spoke on TV3's Agenda.
With the issues, we need to be able to identify what the problems have been. Fundamentally, there are three major issues that we identify. Number one is finance, and number two is the engineering styles that we have, and number three is the issue of maintenance. Okay, so we've gotten to a point in time where we need to be able to look for ways and means to consistently, sustainably finance the roads infrastructure and almost every infrastructure sector that is in this country. Now, any country that is determined to change around or to turn around the economic fortunes of its people would need to deal with the road infrastructure. Because now, whether you want to turn around the economics through agriculture, you would need roads from the farms to the market centers and to your harbor. If you want to turn around your economic fortunes through industry, that even makes it worse, like what we want to do now. It means that you will need to deal with the roads from your farms that actually contains about 70 to 80% of the raw raw materials and resources that you need to feed your industries. You need to be able to deal with the roads that goes to your industry and the roads from your industry to the market and to the harbor. So that is very fundamental. And how do we go about this? I think it's always been borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. But if you did have a comprehensive read through the Great Transformational Plan, we had suggested three fundamentals. And I think that Ghana Institute of Engineers, we presented a copy to you.
Yes.
And during before the elections, when you brought up together all the political parties. And
that was a member of the Movement for Change, Nana Yao Sapong. But the Vice President of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Dr. Patrick Bekwe, disagreed with him.
We'll be able to reach the destination that we want to. But the question is, how do we ensure that we get the right or the quality roads for our country? Yes, you rightly said the previous government started something. They actually talked about year of roads for so many years, and we are where we are. Where do we go as a country? I believe as an institution, ours is to ensure that right from procurement of the contractors or professionals, consultants who will be undertaking the design, the construction, we ensure value for money.
That was the Vice President of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Dr. Patrick Bekwe. We'll be back with the latest in the world of business and sports. Bismarck Awusa is standing by.
Always busy on the go. Tap the app,
Thanks for your company. Now to the details. President John Dramani Mahama says Ghana is on track to end the year with single-digit inflation following a sharp decline from 23.5% at the start of the year to 12.1% in July. The current rate is nearing the revised year-end target of 12%, down from an earlier projection of 16%. Speaking to investors during an official visit to Japan, President Mahama highlighted improvements in Ghana's macroeconomic indicators, noting that the cedi is now ranked among the best-performing currencies globally.
We are re-establishing macro stability and the growth momentum of the economy. Inflation rose to a high of almost 23% in 2024 and is currently down to 13.7%. And we expect that by the end of the year to hit single digit. And it's also, our cedi has stabilized. For those of you who know the history of the Ghanaian cedi, it's been one of the most volatile currencies in Africa. And a few years back, we were said to be the worst performing currency. I'm happy to announce that this year, Ghana's cedi has been the best performing currency in the world.
And that was President John Dramani Mahama projecting single-digit inflation by year-end as rate falls to 12.1% in July, nearing revised target. Before we go, Ghana's producer price inflation, PPI, went down by 2 percentage points to 3.8% in July 2025. This was the 6th consecutive month of decline and the lowest producer inflation rate recorded since November 2023. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, the data showed a producer price inflation of 1.6% between June and July 2025. On average, the prices received by producers for their goods and services rose by 1.6% in July compared to June 2025. And that brings us to the end of this business segment on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausa. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. Sports is next with Oreku Ampofo. Please stay.
It's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596-920-833 or 0302-200-390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
3FM 92.7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station. 3FM 92.7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
3FM 92.7
3FM 92.7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station. FM 92.7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station. Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3FM.
Greetings in the name of His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie Rastafari.
It has always been begin a journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness. It is your regular taxi driver with the urban blend and 3FM 92.7 in living stereo every day, Monday to Friday from 12:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. This is the show everybody listens to, so your business will certainly do well here. My name, Black Rasta. I am the rootical here.